What I'm about to tell you will totally change the way you look at deferring taxes in your 401k and your IRA, as well as how you handle your taxes in retirement. And this goes against all the BS that Uncle Scam, your employer, the media, and Wall Street has been spewing to us most all of our lives. So do you think future tax rates will be higher? When you look at the state of our continuing annual deficits, our national debt, the funding issues we have with Social Security and Medicare, mathematically, it's no longer feasible for the government to fix the financial challenges Americans will face in the future through taxation alone. However, it is still mathematically possible for individual Americans, to have financial and retirement success by building the financial freedom that they desire. But you got to take action while you can. With the new administration controlling the House and the Senate, it does appear that taxes will be going up much sooner than otherwise may have happened. Multiple sources have said federal income taxes will likely increase from about $3.4 trillion in 2020 to $6.8 trillion by 2028. That's in just 7 short years from now, right? They're going to be coming after people they determine to have the money to be able to pay these taxes. Right? So why would Uncle Sam continue to recommend us to defer taxes in 401ks and IRAs? Right? Did you realize that currently there's a little less than $30 trillion in qualified accounts? All right? IRAs, 401ks, that type of stuff. Right? Uncle Sam has 100% control over how much this money will be taxed. Qualified money is like an annuity, giving Uncle Sam a guaranteed source of taxes for the rest of your life and even after you're gone. Think about this. 81% of American households make less than $75,000. 90% make less than $100,000. Now, it's going to be difficult to tax the income on these folks enough to even make a dent in the problem that we have. Now, realizing this, when you think about this, who do you think Uncle Sam is going to come after? Could it be people making more than $100,000? And if that were to happen, wouldn't 90% of the population be perfectly okay if this was the case? So maybe those politicians wouldn't be worried about getting voted out of office? So could the amount that you have in your 401k or IRA become a target too? So could the amount that they, in your 401k and IRA, that they determine for you to be considered rich be, I don't know, $1 million, $750,000, $500,000? And think about this, as Uncle Sam needs more tax money, couldn't they change the definition of who is rich? Maybe that threshold drops. Do you think that's a possibility? You know, there's another tax we all need to be concerned with. It's a stealth tax. It's inflation or lost purchasing power. And Uncle Sam has been underreporting inflation for years. So did you know that the inflation number the government reports doesn't include food, healthcare, or energy? Well, aren't those important to include? Now, it's predicted that the M.A.T.H money supply is going to increase by almost $100 trillion in the next 8 years. What do you think that will do to the purchasing power of your money? It's going to reduce it, right? So really, isn't inflation a tax? But inflation is worse than the income tax because it hits 100% of Americans, and the poor are the ones that are most hurt by it. Everybody pays this stealth tax. But how do we know it's coming? Well, mathematically. After raising taxes and lowering benefits, government still won't have enough money. Okay? So they're going to have to print enormous amounts of new money, and they're already doing that. It's the only way they can provide the promised benefits of the services needed to run a country. So look at this. We've got January 12, 2021 to estimated January 12th of 2029. And this is at usdebtclock.org. I encourage you to check it out. It's scary, but it's information you need to know. They're predicting that our national debt's going to go up by $58.5 trillion in the next 8 years. They're predicting the money creation is going to be $97.1 trillion. More money supply means more inflation. And then this is the killer here. Our unfunded liability between Social Security and Medicare is expected to go up another $107.8 trillion. There is no way that Uncle Sam can tax us enough to pay for all of this. So they're going to have to print money. So I'm going to ask you again, do you think future tax rates will be higher? Do you want to pay those higher taxes? And assuming you don't, it begs the question. If you could be in control of how much tax you pay rather than allowing the government to be in charge of your tax bill, would you want to develop a strategy, and when would you want to get started? As far as the stealth tax goes, the only way to combat this is to get your money to do more. So what if we could minimize your taxes and multiply what your money does for you? Is that something that you'd like to know more about? All right, so if you agree future tax rates are going to be higher and you're interested in controlling your taxes so you don't pay more than your fair share, well, you're in luck, right? Because we've created 4 videos and they're targeted at certain amounts that you either have in your qualified or that you'll have in your qualified plans. So qualified plans are 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans, IRAs, SEP, KEOs, even pensions. And that you either have that amount in there now because you're in retirement or what you expect to have when you retire, all right? So we've separated these because the numbers do change quite a bit depending on how much you have or will likely have in qualified money in retirement. The 4 options are their buttons either going to be next to the video or below it, depending on if you're watching this on your computer or your phone. So go ahead, click the button that best describes where you are or where you'll be in retirement, and it'll take you to a more in-depth video where we're going to share some ideas on minimizing your tax bill and how to multiply your money. I want to thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on the other side.